Stacey.
Hello.
Hi, Stacey. It's Decka here, and my co-host Karen.
Hello.
Hi there. How are you?
Stacey, it's so good to meet you guys online. Hasn't Decka done an amazing job connecting us all together? Really impressed. Really impressed.
It's my first time connecting three people all at the same time. Well, to four if you count Karen, really.
Yeah, man multitasking. It's so amazing.
That's it. So, where am I calling you at, Stacey?
I'm in the UK at the moment.
Ah, righty. Whereabouts in the UK?
I live not too far away from London, about an hour's north from London.
Nice. So that's cool. And where am I calling you from, Susie?
You're calling me from the Central Coast, New South Wales.
Excellent. And we're in WA. Look at that.
Hey. Are you in lockdown, Susie?
No,
yes.
we've actually...
we're part of the greater Sydney area, so unfortunately, yes, we're in lockdown, and it's very frustrating to say the least, but we all are in the same boat, I guess, with this whole thing. So
yeah. It's time to get creative, isn't it? It's the only survival tool for lockdown, creativeness.
That's it. I think you were saying there, Stacey, you're still in lockdown, are you?
No, so the UK obviously has had a lot of the last year. So March time 2020, we went into our first lockdown, and we've experienced a few lockdowns since then, and they've lasted long periods as opposed to Australian lockdowns. But I can say that at the moment our government has kind of given us a freedom day where they're trying to go back to normal, almost, as in everything's open again. They're relying a lot on the vaccine program and trying to see if we can get back to some kind of normality. But there are still restrictions in place in terms of when you visit hospitals, you're asked to isolate a few days before, etc. But we're kind of almost coming out on a different end to what Australia is going into. But I can say that, like you said, lockdown, it has been actually a good opportunity for families across the UK to reevaluate their priorities. We've seen a lot of community spirit, people rallying together, people helping each other and showing kindness. For us as a family, we've done things that we wouldn't usually do, like growing sunflowers, and we almost had an art gallery happening around our house. We had lots of paintings up. People had paintings in their windows. So it's been a good opportunity to look outwards and for me to look up and really explore my faith and trusting in God in this time. So it's been a positive time as much as a challenge. So I encourage everyone in Australia to not lose hope, to look up, to look outwards, and there is a lot of positives to be found in a challenge. So I'm praying for Australia, and I hope that everyone can take a bit of positivity, because we've kind of gone through it and almost coming out the other end, and there is light at the end of the tunnel, and the journey can be good. You've just got to look for the positives in it. That's
right.
All I can say really about lockdown.
It must have been a while since both you and Mum have seen each other physically for holidays, huh? Because of lockdowns and stuff.
Yeah, we were definitely due to come out in the first lockdown. We were looking at tickets to come out to Australia. It was about 2 years since we'd been out, so we were due to come out, but it has made travel very restrictive. So it's been 4 years almost. So
wow,
that's the tough part. It not being able to come out easily and see family has been difficult, but again, it's one of those things that you go, okay, I can't do this at this time, but what else can I do, and what else can I focus my energies on? And we haven't seen each other in nearly 4 years, so a long time.
Oh, it's good.
A long time.
Good that we're online now as well. And anyway, we're just calling you for the Young Doctors series. As you know, it has been 45 years now since it was made, since released. And Stacey, I believe you were a baby in the first episode, and your mum Susie was the carer.
I think that my appearance in the show came a little bit later on. I know my mum appeared a few more times, and she'll be able to tell you more. She appeared earlier in the show. But yes, I was only a baby, and I don't remember much about being on the Young Doctors, but I can say that I've seen a lot of newspaper articles from the time, and I used to watch the Young Doctors when I was a little bit older, when it used to play on TV, and I used to love the theme song of the Young Doctors. I can still sing that to myself. I love that theme song, and I loved all the drama of it all. So yes, I was a bit later in the season as a baby.
All right.
But my mum will be able to tell you about the first couple of episodes.
Well, that's right. Well, from Susie, your mum there.
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. At the time of the Young Doctors, I think that's where you were married to Chris King, weren't you?
I was married to Chris King, who played Dennis Jamison, the friendly, bubbly orderly.
Yep, that's right.
He was a regular on the series. He was in the show for about 6 years. He left before the series went for 7 years. He left on the 6th year, the same time as Alan Coleman, actually, who was part of the creation with Reg Watson of the show. So we had Stacey, I think, 2 years into the show. And then I think Tim Page and Annie Lucas, who played Dr. Steele, and Annie Lucas played Dr. Steele's wife, they had a baby. And I obviously had just had Stacey, so they thought it'd be a great idea to bring her in as the kidnapped baby, which was exciting. She played Jessica Steele, which is interesting because I now have a Jessica. My last baby was called Jessica. So that was a few years into the show. I appeared in the first episode, was actually the pilot episode, as the very naughty, bad babysitter that let the superintendent, played by Brian, he played Dr. Brian. I can't remember his last name now, but anyway, he played the superintendent, and his child, they needed a babysitter. His wife was doing the wrong thing with one of the handsome doctors, played by John Walton, and I was just brought in as the babysitter, and I was a little bit naughty and went off with my boyfriend and left the character on his own, and in the very first episode he got knocked over by a car. So very, very exciting.
It's all the drama of it all, isn't it? It's the drama of it all happening. It's so exciting.
So it was interesting because I've just bought the DVD set, and so I thought I was in episode B, but I guess episode A and B were part of the pilot, and it was just interesting seeing myself 40 odd years ago as this young teenage girl. It's sort of a bit of a, wow, did I look like that? And look at the haircut, it's horrible.
The old hairstyles, the old cardboard sets, and of course,
absolutely.
Every Young Doctor's character I've talked to has remembered the old character called Freddy. Now, I don't know if you remember him. He was the dummy, basically. He was the one who had his back to the windows and walls and stuff. Do you remember that character?
Well, they talked about it a lot. I think I did see Freddy around on the set. I mean, I used to visit, obviously with Chris working there regularly, I used to visit a lot when I wasn't playing a character myself. And, I mean, we had a lot of laughs on the set. There were a lot of funny things. It was only interesting. It was such a low-budget show, yet it was the highest-rating show at the time. And yet it only had three small sets within, North Sydney, Milson's Point.
Yeah.
But it was incredible what they did on such a low budget, and it was hard conditions. I mean, there was no real air conditioning, not in the beginning anyway. But they had wonderful caterers. I remember the caterers well, and everyone put on weight with their wonderful catering. But as I say, it was a very small family unit, basically. It was a wonderful cast. Wonderful people came through, wonderful different characters, and it really did feel like family. So
isn't it amazing that to create such an amazing environment, even though the budget's not there, but everybody's committed and dedicated to bringing the show together and pulling it together and seeing it through to the end. Can you imagine 45 years later in 2021 pulling off a show? Do you think I'm a publisher, sorry, I just went down the author route. But do you think that, actors and actresses would be so accommodating these days?
Sorry, I missed the last bit you said.
Do you think that actors and actresses would be so accommodating to have, no kind of aircon or those kinds of things, low budget kind of productions together?
It's funny because I think there was such a love for one another within the cast and the crew. It was just such a family situation, I think, and it was exciting. I mean, it was the first hospital soap opera made in Australia. I mean, there was 2 years earlier, Channel 7 actually had tried making a pilot called Casualty Ward that didn't really go ahead. So Channel 9, produced, were part of bringing forth the Young Doctors 2 years later, and it was an exciting time. So I guess it was kind of revolutionary, really, because we hadn't had anything like that. So I think, would actors and actors be as accommodating now? I think, we're in a different era, obviously, and we've set a precedent now. But because back then, there hadn't been anything like it, I think there was incredible, people that came through the show. I mean, well-known people, and even of different industries, like Gay Waterhouse, who was the horse trainer. Tim Rand, the Premier at the time's daughter, he played Chris's wife, on-screen wife. Mm-hmm. A lot of wonderful people came through, and I think they wanted to be on such a show because it was such a groundbreaking show at the time. So yes, I would say yes, probably they would be as accommodating if they were in that era. But of course now we've moved on, so we now have, I guess, higher expectations. Actors and actresses like to be looked after well. There's a lot more variety now, and it's, the industry's established, but back then it wasn't as established. So so I hope that answers your question.
Absolutely. But isn't it good to think about, we're setting precedent, and look at the legacy that the Young Doctors has left. We're still talking about it today, which is really amazing. And I know that we had Chris on on Inspire Radio recently, didn't we?
A few weeks back.
Yeah, awesome. And then to get to talk to you and Stacey is just so fabulous. I just want to talk a bit about, so you went on to, you met Chris and you went on to have many children, is that right?
Well, actually, Chris and I had been, even though we were young, I mean, we were married already at 18 and 19. So Chris got the role a year after we were married. It actually launched on the 8th of November. Our wedding anniversary was the 1st of November, and it was our first wedding anniversary. And I remember there was a bit of a pre-launch party, which, interesting enough, Michael Hutchinson from InXS was just starting off in that band, and they were playing in our little pre-Young Doctors party, pre-launch party. Because Pat Hutchinson, his mum, was one of the makeup artists and a lovely lady. And, it was, I forget now what the question was, but I'm trying.
I was just asking from, I'm a mum of 6, and I believe, did you go on to have 7 children? Is that right?
Yes.
I think, Mum was about to tell you about my birthday. It's a part of that party story.
Stacey was our firstborn.
Yes.
And we had 7. So, as I say, we were celebrating our first year anniversary when the show started. So, by the time the show ended, I think we were up to daughter number. We had 4 daughters to begin with. And then, we actually had a son, but we did lose that son the year before Young Doctors started. Then we had 4 girls. Then we had another son, and then another 2 girls. So, we've got 7 children. And I think when Young Doctors finished 82 or 83, I think it was, we had, I actually picked up a role, I think it was year 6 of Young Doctors. The ratings were starting to fall about that time, and they wanted to spice it up. And I remember I was the nursing mum of our second daughter, Eliza, who also was in the industry. And I remember Alan Coleman asked, would you audition for this part for an ex? They wanted to spice the show up. They wanted a character, Zoe Sheridan, who was a stripper, an ex-stripper, and they brought her in to just lift up the ratings a little bit. So I was, that was a fun role, a very fun role. I mean, it started with her popping out of a box for the superintendent once again. It was his birthday party. It was a surprise, and it was a little bit risky, to be honest, at the time.
Yes.
To 6 o'clock.
All fun and games.
Fun character to play, yeah. So it was interesting because I was still nursing my daughter, so it was trying to sort of have milk, and she wasn't on set, so I was expressing that it was interesting playing the character and running off at the side to do my thing and going back on, but it was interesting.
Amazing. Kudos to you, I have to admit. Kudos to you. Stacey, were you going to share with us a little insight into about you and how you were born? Was that what we were
I was just thinking I think Mum was talking about parties, and I remember asking Mum once about my birth, and I think Dad was at a young doctor's party. I think they were on the harbour on a boat, and I think I was pretty close to my due date. I think I was only one day, but I think Mum thinking, oh, the baby's not going to come, it's all good, sent Dad off. And then I think I decided to make a fun surprise visit quite quickly. So I think it was a bit of a race at 4 a.m. in the morning for my dad to get back into Sydney and up to the hospital. I think he did actually make my birth, but I can thank a young doctor's party for him almost nearly missing my arrival, but it was all good and he was there. But I thought that was the story Mum was actually going to say when she was talking about parties. I know that, as Mum said, I think the cast did really love one another. I know Dad has fondly talked about people from the Young Doctors, and I remember Tim Page being around our house as a young child. So I think it was lovely that the cast were so bonded, and I think that's what makes for a good show too. Or when you're watching, I know when I watch actors, my favorite actors, I know are really genuine people, really people that as Mum said, my sister's in the industry, so people like Hugh Jackman who are really friendly to the extras or to the other members. So people who really do have a great bond together offset often are better actors on set, and I think that is a great thing about the show, as Mum said, that everybody was like family, and that I think that comes across as well in when you're watching Young Doctors. It's just a different experience watching a show like that. So yeah, that was my little bit on.
Thank you for that insight,
Stacey,
but absolutely, and being the child of the actors in the show, you obviously grew up in a different environment than many of your. Did you went to school in different peers? How was that for you, Stacey, growing up?
I do remember a few things about growing up in having recognizable dad. I remember going through the McDonald's drive-through one time, and we're all sitting in the back of the car, and then people recognizing my dad and kind of having a chat with him, or kids at school saying, "Oh, I saw your dad on that commercial," and start singing the tune off the commercial. So it was something you kind of got used to, and I guess for me now, when I met one of my favorite actors, I've tried to play it really, really cool, to not be too invasive, because I know that they're people and they have private lives, and they've got families, and they want to enjoy their personal time as well. So it was interesting to see Dad being recognized, and it was, I guess, really fun in some ways, because it's nice that your dad does something that people appreciate, and then in other ways sometimes you think, okay, yep, get on with life. We're all humans. We all do different jobs, and they're equally as valuable. It doesn't matter if you're on TV or if you're part of the council waste disposal. It doesn't matter what you do. Everybody has a part to play in society, and everybody, yeah, it has value in what they do. So it was nice. It was a nice kind of privilege, and there was lots of good things that came out of Dad being an actor, and my parents being entertainers. A lot of privileges and opportunities, but at the end of the day, as I said, it was grounding for me as well to realize that we need to value everybody's job, no matter what you do. That's right. Everybody plays a part.
I love Stacey's positive attitude in life.
It's very positive. It's great. Now, Stacey, I believe you're a school teacher now as well.
I am a school teacher, but I have 3 children, and because of some of their needs, I do part-time school teach, but I, through lockdown, have also written a children's book about a fantasy character who has to deal with trying to understand online learning and lockdown and all the parts of coronavirus, which it's meant to be a humorous take on the coronavirus, to really, when the kids read it, they can have a laugh about what they've gone through. A lot of kids over here have spent months off school, and then we're just going on to summer holidays, but before the summer holidays, the school that my children went to had about 6 classes have to shut down because somebody in the class had come into school with coronavirus. So they shut down that class and said kids isolate for 10 days. So I've written a book that hopefully will come out by the end of the year and basically encourage kids to have a laugh about it and to realize that, to remember this period of time and not forget it, and remember how all the good things that I said before, how we pulled together, how life has changed, but how it's not all for the bad. So, and how you can bring a negative into a positive. So that's what I've been doing. Amazing. Spending many late nights working on that.
What's your book called, Stacey?
Sorry?
What's your book called?
At the moment, it's called Daniel Dinosaur's Dilemmas. Oh, awesome. So hopefully, as I said, it will come out. Hopefully, I'm hoping to get it on Amazon by the end of the year. It's a bit of a labour of love, so that's the aim by the end of the year. But we've got some great people working on it.
And I will help you if you need any help. I'm a publisher, so I do this every day. So let me know.
I will have to definitely be in touch. I think, as I said, this year has been about people pulling together, and it's amazing how in life, if you draw on the people that come into your life, if you work together, even though we are almost shutting down as a society where we're kind of told keep away from each other, don't talk to each other, I think if using technology and all the different forms that people have been communicating, if you draw on the network around you, it's amazing what you can achieve. And we've seen that definitely in our community, drawing on the people and the network of people, you can fulfill your dreams. You can do great things. So I will definitely have a chat with you sometime soon about that. That would be fantastic.
Amazing. Positive message. And
very good. Very nice message.
Oh, awesome.
So this is another question for Susie. Susie, sorry. Yeah. Do you still act now? Do you? What do you do now since you've left the Young Doctors, etc.?
Well, I actually was considering going back as a more mature actress now. I was considering going back into the industry, but since I moved to the Central Coast, actually Chris and I, when we were still married, after Young Doctors, we thought, what do we do now? So we actually decided to teach. At the time, it was Johnny Young was very popular with the Young Talent Time, and so we opened a young talent school up on the Central Coast, which we did probably, I think about 13 years. And actually our girls and my son, so they stayed in that environment, in show business kind of environment as entertainers. My second daughter, Eliza, became a singer overseas for 6 years. My third daughter, Chrissy, she's got an awesome voice. She did some recording. Belle, my fourth daughter, didn't go in the show business direction, but was very involved with, shows. We had show groups through the talent school. And then my son is an awesome guitarist, Daniel. He was in a band as well, but he's pursued business more so than his music career, selling homes. His top sales manager of McDonald Jones. Then Nikki, my fifth daughter, sixth child, she's a hairdresser. She pursued hairdressing, but a wonderful little entertainer she was. She brought the house down when she was young, and through the talent school can dance, rings around many dances. I actually started off as a dancer. I was much more a dancer than an actress in my day. And then my youngest, Jessica, who she was the lead vocalist overseas in the cruise ships. She's an actress. She's done a couple of movies, just did a KFC commercial. So she's really pursuing show business. So it's really interesting to see my children, a good majority of them, and they're all, had their own talent within show business. Stacey plays the piano. She was great on stage as well. But they've all pursued, different tangents, I guess, of the industry at least one time or another. And so myself, I sort of now think, well, I'm on the coast and I'm remarried. So I remarried an electrician, a lovely man, and I help look after that side of things, the business, which, I guess just because you're creative, it doesn't mean you can't be administrational as well, if that's the right word. But there's a bit of a creative buzz still within me, and think, well, maybe I could do it now. Been away from the industry for a while. Obviously I wouldn't go back to dancing. You've got to be young and fit for that. But the acting side of things still is something that I think, well, maybe I should pursue it, whether it be commercials or small roles,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, it has been a thought, and it is something that I'm literally just putting together some old material of what I've done, and, just thinking about pursuing that. But it's just a thought in process at the moment.
I don't know, I hear Dancing with the Stars calling. Susie, I'm sorry.
We could see you again.
Well, I think the thing is, because I've got 7 children and so many that have been in the industry, I like to support them. I've been I try to be at every show and encourage them in the industry. Jess, my youngest, is probably the most ambitious at the moment, pursuing her career. So I try to be supportive and help her in that area and give her contacts. And, I'm sure Chris does the same, sort of makes suggestions. But that's been busy, and I've got, believe it or not, nearly 16 grandchildren. So
wow, that is super impressive, hey?
That will be a great Christmas.
Busy.
Yeah, well, Stacey, it's sad for me, obviously, with her being in England. I don't get to see much of her kids. She's got 3 lovely boys, and I haven't seen much of them. 4 years ago was the last, her youngest, who I think is now 4 or about to turn 4. He was a baby at the time. So, and then, but most of the grandchildren are on the coast and around me, which is nice. But I think you get to this stage of life and think, well, what would I like to do? Yes. And I'd like to have a little dabble back in the industry and see what's around. So, yeah.
Oh, we definitely could see you again sometime then, huh?
I look forward to seeing that.
Absolutely. You never know, do you?
and with your kids in there, you still got the connections and things like that, because sometimes it is about that, and obviously with having been in Young Doctors, you've got all of that, acting kind of background and everything. So it'll be good to see. What would your ideal role be? I'm going to put it out there.
What would my ideal role be? Well,
yes.
And it's funny you say that, because when I was younger, I always wanted a really serious part, but everyone wanted to cast me as the sexy blonde. But basically, that was it. They said, "Why would we cast you as the secretary with glasses when you look like you look like?" And I thought, well, but isn't that what acting's all about? And they said, yeah, but we could get someone that looks more the role rather than have to make you look the role. So that was their argument. So, now that I'm a bit maturer, it doesn't mean I'm, I couldn't play attractive roles, hopefully, but I would like to play something a little bit more, something with a little bit more depth. Yeah. And I think when you've been out of the industry for a while, and the contacts move on as well, it'd be nice, you get your regular sort of people in the industry that play, certain age groups or whatever. It's nice sometimes to have fresh blood to make the character more real. Do you know what I mean? So it's not, oh, yes, I know them from so-and-so, another part in another series. So that's been my thinking of late thinking. And funny enough, it was inspired, that thought has been inspired by my ex-mother-in-law, Chris's mother, who, when she was alive, God rest her soul, she's gone now for quite some time. But I remember she was such a funny lady, and I guess Chris might have got a lot of his humour from her, but she used to take her teeth out and says, "Oh, look what parts I could play." And she was quite... and she did that little funny little... She did a commercial without her teeth in and, playing this old, she wanted to sort of play these crazy, witchy kind of characters. And I thought, well, good for her. I looked at her and I thought, gee, at your age, thinking to do that, I thought, good on her. So... Yeah. Now I'm thinking, well, maybe I need to make a comeback. Hopefully not. I do still have my own teeth.
There's so many opportunities, though, now, isn't there? Susie, there's absolutely... I've been watching so many amazing Australian shows on Netflix and all of the different channels. So there's definitely opportunities out there. And there is so much depth to the shows that are coming. Like, they're really substantial roles, and you can, like, it's just like, wow, isn't it? It's a perfect time, and I can't wait to see you making a comeback. It'll be fabulous.
It'd be great.
Well, I know to do anything. I think once you love the industry, and I mean, it was a desire that I had, from a very young age, and I was, trained balletically. I went, when I got an agent, I did extra work. That's how I met Chris, through a show, Pig and a Poke, on the ABC. Chris was the juvenile lead, and I was looking for an agent. I ended up getting a husband. But, he, because I was with an extras agency, and then I got a better agency. And the first agent, it was Jam Promotions at the time, Gene Sinners and Martin Bedford and Shirley. Which I think Martin's still got his own acting agency now, specialising just in drama. But at the time, they were sort of all-rounders, did the singing, dancing, acting. And she said, well, you've got all this dancing training, and you're tall and blonde and leggy, which is what, they want. And so they sent me for my first audition, which I got. So from there, I did a lot of shows. I worked with the wonderful Ross Hutchinson, who... is a wonderful choreographer, has done a lot of work with Bernard King and many different shows. And, so I worked a lot with him. And, so my life got caught up with the dancing, but I always had this passion for the acting. So, but I did, overall, I did more, did more work as a dancer than I did as an actress. So maybe there's an unfulfilled passion there that, I need to fulfill at this stage of my life.
There's a little bucket list item waiting to be ticked off for that serious role. Yeah, awesome.
So if somebody was to ask you sort of now, say, what would be the best advice you can give somebody who is going in straight into a brand new acting role right now?
My best advice would be to, one of the things that is common is that people try to act, and the best lesson you can learn is don't act, react.
Yes.
Listen. Because, you get your bedroom learners, and I'll put up my hand and say, yep, I was one of those. I'd practice because I'm a bit of a perfectionist, and I wanted to nail, a character and not nail the role. But I learned that, if you just relax and really listen and don't prepare too much, learn your lines, but don't have any preconceived ideas. Just go in there and react.
Yeah.
In the situation of of the character, how would they react to this person? Because you can learn it one way, and then the other actor is spinning it a completely different way to what you expect, and you have to be able to. You have to be natural. So relaxation is important. Relax into the character and just allow yourself to be natural by reacting. It's funny, in my character as Zoe Sheridan, I remember Alan Coleman. We only lived around the corner from the producer, director Alan Coleman, great Alan Coleman. He was a fabulous man, and we spent a lot of time with his family, with his beautiful wife Barbara, who was on set as well, in wardrobe and doing all sorts of things and hospitality, and their beautiful children. And I've actually just got in contact with Jackie, their youngest daughter. But anyway, we used to be at their place a lot, and they had a hot spa. We used to hop in the hot spa together. And I remember Alan saying to me when I played the character, he said, you know how you are in the hot spa, because I guess I was a bit giggly and flamboyant, so I don't know what I was doing, but he said, I want you to play the character like that. I want you to be over the top. And because she was, you know, she was a bit of a fun character, as in, I mean, it's interesting. I had some wonderful scenes with Chris on set because her character was one of flirtation. She loved to, you know, flirt with everyone. She never got with anybody, but she flirted. And Dennis, Chris's character, my husband at the time, he had married Kim Rand in the show, and you know, he was having a bit of trouble, and I was very flirty with him in this particular scene, and it was hilarious because he had to sort of react, oh, I can't be with you, I'm a happily married man, but I was forever egging him on. So it was funny. I remember many scenes that were hilarious, but yeah, so I've lost my train of thought again of where I was with it. But,
Decka was asking you about
the best advice.
Yeah, I think you've inspired Decka to go into acting.
Yeah,
he was asking
that's
for
what
himself there.
I remember where I was. Yeah, I remember now where I was going with it. But the character, I remember in doing that character, you know, Alan kept saying, I want more over the top. And I thought, I can't give more. I thought, and it's so funny because my parents at the time, when it came to air, they said, oh, you're a little bit over the top. Couldn't you pull it back a bit? And I was thinking they wanted more, you know. But the thing is, it was that character, that's how they envisaged her to be. And she was meant to be, you know, as I say, I was brought in to try and lift the ratings and, you know, bring a little bit more risque into the show and a little bit more fun. But the thing is, you know, what I perceived as might be over the top or whatever, you know, you've got to go with what the character is. You've got to relax into the character and take the direction. But as I say, not be preconceived. Like in you know, it was good direction for me because they wanted it a certain way, and I needed to know that. So the important thing is to listen to your direction, really get a hold of what the character is, what they're trying to produce, why the character's there. You know really understand your character, but then react, not act, react, and that's an important key.
Oh, that's
so
cool.
That would be my advice.
That is really great advice.
And enjoy yourself. Enjoy the character. Enjoy its complexities. You know, as I say, I would have liked something more. In your answering your question from before, I would have liked something a little bit more meaty because I was always playing those kind of characters. But you know, as I say, if you even look at Young Doctors, you know, naughty babysitter, blonde babysitter, off with the boyfriend, you know, and then Zoe character stripper, you know, naughty girl, you know, it's trying to entice all the men into her life on the show. And, you know, I was in Chopper's Spot as well, where I played a girl on the beach, you know, in a bikini, and she's lost her boyfriend in the surf, and, you know. But I thought it was a little bit more dramatic. I was able to give a bit of tears to the role. But, yeah, as I say, I'd probably like something a little bit more meaty, a little bit more serious. Yeah, even though I like a bit of comedy. But yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah, that's
cool,
it.
Yeah.
I think that we've got ammo now to be able to get into to try and weave our way into acting. And you want to bounce off that. You don't want to be, you know, you don't want to clash, because if somebody else has preconceived ideas that clash with yours, then it just would be a disaster on screen, really, wouldn't it? Whenever you're relaxed and allow it to connect naturally, I think that's a better viewing experience, I think, for the reader.
The audience definitely can see that too.
One quick funny story. There was a beautiful actress, Colleen Clifford, who was in the show. She was an English actress that did well in Australia. I mean, she'd worked with great actors like Laurence Olivier and Betty Davis, etc. But she played this. She was elderly, and she played a patient in the hospital. And Chris, my husband at the time, as Dennis Jamison, had struck up a friendship with her in the hospital. And there was a character, I forget his name, but he played Colleen Clifford's nephew. And he was trying to rip Colleen Clifford off, you know, after her inheritance. Wasn't very caring, but played caring. And anyway, Dennis Jamison, Chris's character, was very protective of Colleen Clifford, and so he had this scene with the nephew, just watch yourself, mate. It was kind of a threatening scene. But it wasn't overly threatening, but it happened to be I was on set that day playing Zoe Sheridan, and I was in the makeup room, and the man who played the nephew didn't know I was married to Chris, and he was kind of, being very friendly with me and sort of thought maybe I'd like to go out. Well, Chris happened to be around where this was happening. So what a funny story. And his scene was up next with the nephew in addressing the nephew and ripping off Colleen Clifford. So it was a little bit, I'm not impressed with this man hitting on my wife, but he didn't know. Anyway, the scene came up, and it was the best scene ever. I mean, it was applauded because Chris used that emotion to say, now listen, mate, and the reaction on that on the guy who played the nephew's face was priceless. He was literally thrown against the wall, now listen here, mate, It was a brilliant scene, and, that's where acting really is, you have its brilliance, because he reacted to how the strength of Chris's character, really nailing him against the wall, because Chris was using his own natural emotion as well. So that's where acting, really comes together, when you can use those emotions and you get such a great natural reaction. If he played in his head over it, well, how am I going to respond to this by the script, it might not have been so good. But he just went with it, and it was brilliant. So, yeah.
Oh, Susie, I want to read your book. I could listen to you telling these stories all day, and to get the backstage gossip is just wonderful. So thank you for sharing. Hasn't it been amazing to have this conversation, Decka?
It definitely has. It's been very enlightening from different points of view.
And we're covering the globe here because Stacey is over in the UK, and we're Perth, and Susie's over in New South Wales. What time is it now?
Yeah, New Sydney.
Oh my goodness, it's like 6:32 over there. Thank you so much.
6:30 here. Time to cook dinner for the hubby. I've made him wait outside while we talk.
Oh, thank you, hubby. Well, thank you.
Have you? This is a question for Stacey. There, have you got any sort of final message for anybody before we move on?
I would just say what I said before, for all of those people in Australia who are in the lockdowns and who are finding life a little bit tough. I can honestly say, from having the last year of being in an environment where people have gone through it constantly, and obviously it can be a bit stressful for people's work and for not knowing what's going to happen in the future. As I said, look up. Ask for help, whether it's from above or from neighbours or from loved ones. Ask for help if you need it. Know that you're not alone. It is literally a global situation, but at the end of the day, as I said, challenges may come, but we have had lots of people here that have had coronavirus around us, and for most people it's an illness. You get better, life goes on as if it never happened. So my message to people in Australia is, don't fear, be positive, reach out, look above, and just take the opportunity to spend time with loved ones and family, and watch the Young Doctors, get some Australian TV happening during your lockdown, because you look back at history, you see these old shows, and I mean, it's just interesting to even see a time where you didn't have a mobile phone, you didn't have a computer, you didn't have social media, and to see what life was like in those periods of time. It's great watching history through TV. So during lockdown, get out your Australian TV, watch some of these episodes that we've talked about. Listen to the theme songs. I love theme songs. They just lift you up. They put you in a place. Take the opportunity to do new things and to venture out of your comfort zone, because it's a golden opportunity. Life's presented a challenge, but it's a golden opportunity to go, okay, what can we do? How can we use this for good? So that's probably my closing little advice. And what Mum said about acting is spot on. I agree. If you want to get into acting, reacting, be natural, listen to people, listen to what people are saying to you, and this applies to life as well. Really listen to people, because I think as a society often when we're communicating with one another, we think people understand what we're saying, and we think what we've said people take on board at face value, but as a society, we're not always good at really listening and trying to comprehend what people are saying. So in acting, yes, definitely listen. In life, definitely really try and listen to people and react to that, react to what people are telling you. And it's a good tip for both situations. So yeah, definitely agree 100%.
No worries, that was absolutely awesome. Well, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you both, and it's great to see that you're still connected all that distance away.
Open up the flights. Let us get back
that's it. Open up the flights.
Thank you.
Hopefully all goes well for you, and lockdown ends and everyone is happy.
Yeah.
That would
Thank
be
you so
brilliant.
much for the conversation. It's been amazing.
Alrighty.
It's been great talking to you, and look forward to speaking to you again sometime soon.
And thank you. Definitely will.
Bye, Susie.
It
Bye,
sounds
Stacey.
good. And I think that book's in the making, Stacey. You've got a good contact now. So
yeah,
sounds
Stacey, I'll connect with
That's
you.
it, definitely.
lovely to meet you both. Thank you for your time.
You too.
All right. Thank
Bye
you
bye.
for joining us.
God bless.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye now. Bye.
IPL Radio, inspiring passionate lives for the community.